Hello again on this lovely evening. I think Indian summer is here, hopefully for a while. Tonight is going to be interesting because there's several things going on here. One, we're having dinner with some friends who really like wine like us, so we figured we can share a pretty nice bottle. Second, Chateau Montrose, which this is really probably my favorite Bordeaux. Somehow it all comes together for me again with what they make, with their philosophy, with all the morals I've had. I've always been really amazed. And here we have a specific one. It's a 1978 Chateau Montrose. 1978 is not necessarily a particular year for the Bordeaux lovers. It was a pretty good year in the end. I think it was sort of one of those years where it kind of got there through a zigzag. It was a little cold and rainy, then it was warm, then it was cold, then it was warm. But overall, it ended up working out pretty well. It was amazing in Burgundy, as we learned from Honey. But it was actually pretty good in Bordeaux. But for 78 for us is really the year where my generation, my friends, my class, if you want, of school left Lebanon and emigrated. And now we still have friends quite close, from that class, and they're pretty much everywhere. We're talking Australia, Los Angeles, New York, Paris, Lebanon, south of France, Spain. It just sort of kind of one of those things, and these are people are not visiting, they're living there, they've made lives for themselves. We do get together once in a while. So it's my class. I'm the class of 78 from my school. And I just want to make sure also I think of that class during the deep, dark days of the war in Lebanon and drink this also to their health and to our continued, ability to get together once in a while. That being said, let's get back to the bottle. This is a bottle I bought on auction. It was a little low, maybe a little less than an inch. So I thought that's doable, especially seeing Hani, taking that risk many times and being okay with that. When I opened it, the cork was pretty good at the top here, so no seepage. I did lose a little piece of it, but that's okay. So I was a little bit worried, but the first step of the operation went pretty well. Here are a few shots to document this. You can see the level here that was in the bottle. Not too bad. And then next, you will see that the cork at the top looked pretty good and there was no real seepage, although I think it was just a little bit shrunk around the edges. And then this is what I said finally, that by extracting it, we just lost a little bit that fell in the bottle and then just came out later without really any noticeable impact on anything. And now we're looking at the wine itself. So I did pour some in a glass. It was very closed, which you would expect maybe after all this time in the bottle. But also sometimes it's the reverse. Having been so closed, you kind of feel a little bit of dustiness and closedness in the wine. We didn't get that. It was just closed, neutral. And maybe because of some of the loss of, or some of the oxygen or whatever, it kind of stabilized it in some funny way, but I don't really know for sure. In any case, this is a blend. Primarily, the Morose is primarily Cabernet Sauvignon. So we're talking between 60 and 70, and then Merlot is between 20 and 30, depending on the years. And the rest is primarily Petit Verdot and a little bit of Malbec, maybe 1 or 2%, but 5-6%, Petit Verdot, that kind of mix. So you are getting the the left bank, St Estèphe, predominant Cabernet philosophy. It's 50% new oak. It's sort of in oak for like a year and a half, then it's in bottle, and then it comes out maybe 3 years later. So pretty standard Bordeaux stuff. This is a domain that goes back to specifically 1815, and that's important. I'll tell you why. When the land was purchased, it used to belong to the Ségurs next door, of course, Canon Ségur. but they wasn't planted. So the first family of 4 families that have owned the chateau bought it in 1815, bought the land, planted it, and 40 years later, which is very short by those standards, became a Grand Cru classé. It was basically on the map. And then the second family came by, and the third family was the Charmolus, who owned this for 110 years, from 1896 to 2006. And in 2006, people who know this know that the Bouygues family, the big industrialists in France, bought this property, put a ton of money in investment in sort of refurbishing the facilities, increasing the cellar, but keeping everything, you know, true to its heritage. So just a terrific story overall. And throughout, the wine has been consistently very good. Let's see what we have here. This is this is really, the color is pretty light for a Cabernet or for a Bordeaux, but it's not yet down to sort of the brown notes, which is kind of good because that means the wine is still very healthy and very young. On the nose, now it's really opening up. You're getting a mix of things. You're getting sort of the tannins from the Cabernet, a little bit of the spiciness from the Merlot. You're getting a little bit of that leather, sort of relaxed leather that you get on some old Bordeaux, and you're getting a little bit of dried plum, which is sort of interesting, but not a lot of alcohol. And again, this is they don't even say the alcohol level here, but I mean, I can imagine back in those days, they were struggling to get to 12%. So it's 12%, it says here. So maybe it's true, maybe it was a little bit of an optimistic stretch. This is a light wine. It's interesting because it's light, but it's not too light. It's not light as in watered down. It's light as in it's elegant. It comes together. All the pieces are there. The tannins are very soft. They are there. The finish is pretty good. I mean, it's not very long, but it's distinct. So it's kind of maybe a little bit of a cliff, but there's definitely a finish that you can feel. But overall, it's very well integrated. It is light. Maybe it was a lot stronger 10, 20 years ago. Maybe the not necessarily seepage, but the aeration, forced aeration did make a difference and made it a little bit, for this particular bottle, a little bit softer. But it's really delicious, and I think it's going to be great with the first part of our meal, which I'm really looking forward to be followed maybe by another wine, something sort of still heavier and younger afterwards. Anyway, I was worried about this. This is going to work out really well, and I can only imagine what the bottle would have been like if it was completely in perfect condition. It would probably have even more oomph, which is incredible for a wine that's 44 years old, and it wasn't one of those amazing sort of long-lived vintages in Bordeaux. The wine is all about the experience, the memories, the occasions, so I hope you have things to enjoy like this, and see you soon.